Hi, I'm Mark Evans and welcome to McConaghy. We're very much a custom boat building shop. The DNA in the company is all about race boats. We've been building carbon fibre race boats for 50 years, some of the largest in the world, 100-foot maxis like Alfa Romeo and Wild Oats. And the way that we look at the products behind us is that we're putting some of that DNA into the products that we build today. Current product range is the multi-hulls like you see behind me. They're a performance multi-hull but with a luxury interior fit out.
Welcome to McConaghy. I'm Eric Desjardins. I'm the general manager here in the operation in Australia. I started with McConaghy 15 years ago and very exciting to see how much the company has progressed in the last 15 years. Some of the key personnel started back then as well, like Tony Johnson, the foreman here. The team here is about 35 people at the moment, tradesmen, shipwright, spray painter, the whole lot. A few naval architects as well. We have quite the variety of jobs at the moment in the shed. We have a big refit on a 70-foot performance cruiser. We have a brand new racer, 44-foot. We have an old boat from the 70s. We're giving a bit of a rebirth, and we're about to start a new cruiser racer, 56-foot. We are more the custom refit and prototypes, but we have been developing a lot of the internal processes so we could work together on a similar project. The next project that's starting, for example, we build all the structure, and then overseas there we build all the components, the furniture. It'll come here and be installed, so it's very important, the communication between the two different offices.
The standards and quality control from our perspective is just the passion for what we do. We have very well-trained team leaders and department heads. From a project management point of view, we're delivering to a time scale for race boats. So we break down the project to very detailed timelines, and we also send reports to the client on how we're going on our schedules. We enjoy a challenge, that's for sure. So here at factories we have 3 KUKA robots, one on a 15-metre track. That allows us to very much customise very large components within the factory. We can CNC 15-metre long part, 4 metres high. There's not a lot that we can't build. I mean, we do high-end metal work, composites to timber work. We use high tensile stainless steel, aluminium, titaniums. We go a very broad range.
About 3 years ago we had a bit of a reset in this new factory. We moved here with a lot more square meters. We now have 1,600 square meters. The main difference is we can have 3 big projects going on. One of a lifetime projects is actually outside of the racing world. It was the submersible for James Cameron. That was pretty cool. You know, the phone rings, you never know what the next project is going to be. The general culture at McConaghy is of performance and innovation, and that's really carried forward by our team. Very talented, very committed, very passionate about what they do. We operate on a simple basis that to finish a race first you have to finish. Take great care in our product. Quite often they are at sea. And, you know, the product has to be reliable.
We're a lot different to most yards. We're producing a very light performance product. Today have been commissioned to build a full carbon 100-footer. Quality, custom builds, lightweight. This is McConaghy's.
The AC40 is a 40-foot foiling monohull. Every team has one because as part of our entry into the America's Cup, we had to purchase one for America's Cup World Series events, and then also the knock-on initiative of the Youth and Women's America's Cup.
All the departments have shifted over into 40 mode for a little while here to study it, understand what the dynamics are, and we kind of know what the difficult points of getting the big boat around the racetrack are, and this boat allows us to kind of get through those sticky points and learn deeper into some of the kind of more core problems.
The AC40 is going to be a great boat for us for learning, for developing. Even though we've only sailed for a week, we can already see how good the boat is.
It's amazing how Team New Zealand have essentially designed a boat that's so simple and effective. The autopilot system works unbelievably. It makes it very simple to sail.
It's been pretty wild. Like, we went out the first day, left the dock, just did the tow testing that's required to just check the systems and everything. We hoisted some sails, checked the geometry of the sails. We cut the tow and sheeted in, and 3 minutes later we were foiling, and the first maneuver was a foiling tack.
It's just been such a joy. Like, imagine driving around a go-kart on a track that you can just envision on your own, and there's no bumpers, there's no real track lines or anything. You're just making it up as you go and can throw an attack or drive wherever you want, and the boat's extremely responsive.
The AC40 with 4 people on board is 2 helmsmen and 2 trimmers. The windward helmsman is steering the boat. The only real control that they need to do besides steering the boat is putting the board down and pulling the board up. The leeward helmsman is sort of like the flight controller. It's an autopilot on flight control in the AC40, but there's still a lot of settings involved in getting the boat to foil properly.
The automation of the flight control, it allows us to really push the boat quite hard, especially trying various complex maneuvers.
If you put the bow down and you want to go fast upwind, you can go really fast, but you're also not going to be going as high as the boat next to you. So finding that mode and picking the right mode at the right time is going to be crucial. It's an easy boat to sail, but I think it's going to take a long time for us to get all the settings right and figure out exactly how to sail this boat to its full potential.
We chose to start out at a full-scale model with Patriot and the AC75, and that puts pressure on the entire operation. The next 12 months for us are going to put a different type of pressure on the operation, but keeps everybody's senses and fully engaged into a race mode mentality.
The AC75 is a different animal. It's big, powerful, and you get things wrong, it bites you pretty hard.
I hate using this analogy for a boat that's so big and fast and complex, but the AC75 feels like a bit of a bus. And that's not saying in a bad way, it's a very fast bus. It builds up speed, it takes slower, but once it gets going, it gets on a real rumble, and it's a very fast boat. Obviously, it's probably the fastest boat in the world. On our first day sailing, we were doing very complex maneuvers in the AC40, and on the AC75, there's a lot more coordination and timing that goes into that.
All of the changes that we make on board the yacht, affect the platform almost in a faster way, in a more instantaneous way, and so you pay for them quicker. I think that's all really good learning from the sailor's end, and from the design end, they can extrapolate how the 40-footer will relate to the bigger boat using the same data.
Communicating is going to be a massive part of it, especially when racing is involved, because the boat's completely split down the middle, port side and starboard side, and you have no vision across to the other side of the boat.
We've really enjoyed getting the first boat out there, but when we get to get 2 boats either in a testing configuration where we're testing foils against each other, or we move into a racing scenario where we put the identical foils in and we go head-to-head on a racetrack. And then also we get to use the AC40 on the World Series events, really going head-to-head as a sailing team and seeing how our sailing skills match up against the other teams.
It's going to be exciting to see when the guys get into racing these things in one design mode at a house, because I think one of the knock-ons of our AC36 learnings and kind of the mentality of continual improvement was we want to make sure that when we hear that first starting gun on race day that we're ready to go. I'm quite confident though the racing in-house is going to be really good.